Okay, there we go. Good evening, everybody. We are back to late night on campus, and we are live. The button just goes on, Peter. My apologies. We're a little late, but we're on. A little technical difficulties, but Peter Loshak joins me live. Peter, with rocking the SBR hat, does that mean we're going to get a little swag here soon? Because none of us have the hat you have on. How can we get that?
I don't know, really. I just kind of like wear whatever is like in my closet. You know what I mean? If it's there, I put it on, and that's the thing about being cool. It's not about finding the right accessories. It's about working with the accessories that are right in front of you. That's the key. People think, oh, if I get this car, if I get this jacket, if I get these sunglasses, I'll be cool. No, it comes from within, and then you use what's naturally around you, and then you're cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Some people just are cool. That's just how it is. And I think you've always been someone that's just been normally, naturally cool. But we're back. It's Wednesday, May 24th, not March, May 24th, 2017. We're a little bit late, Peter, but another fun-filled day of baseball. First things first, how's the low-hanging fruit play doing?
Well, the streak is over. I tried to get cute, and I took the Colorado second. I mean, Colorado has obviously dominated all three of these games so far, and I like them again tomorrow. Yes, last night I said I took them. Immediately when I saw the opening line on the -1. That one obviously is going to cash unless something unexpected happens at the bottom of the night. They did the same thing with the overnight line for tomorrow. But for the low-hanging fruit, instead of just taking, Colorado -1 and just taking that, I did take the over in the game with cash. But low-hanging fruit of the day was the Colorado second half, which I thought might be a decent play, and that one is going to be a loser. So the official winning streak is over. I tried to get cute. A lot of times when you're doing well, you start to maybe overthink yourself, get a little bit not necessarily cautious, but cute. I'm like, no, I'm not going to take Colorado's second half and trying to get cute. All right, I got burned.
All good things come to an end, Peter. It means
Yeah.
that another streak starts. But we did have some interesting calls early. I know last night you mentioned we kind of talked about the Minnesota Twins with Berrios on the mound today. They get the job done and win yet another game, bust out the brooms in Baltimore. Baltimore's now lost 3 straight games at home after that big run, that 15-4 run I believe they were on. Twins continue to play well, Peter. Berrios was, again, very good in this game. He, for the most part, was actually fantastic up until the late innings. And you even look at Minnesota, Peter, 2 for 14 with runners in scoring position, and they're still able to get the job done. Yet another solid performance from Berrios. It was nice that see him, that he's human. He gave up some runs today, which we hadn't seen, but another very good outing from the young kid here.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had that one nailed. I did say in the morning show that I liked, Minnesota as a dog here. I also said that Berrios is good, might be great, might be elite going forward at some point, but not quite as good as what we saw from him from his first 2 starts in the majors. Obviously, he's for real though, and I'm not exactly sure what I think about Baltimore going forward, but definitely I'm in general agreement with you on Minnesota, especially as a dog, especially as a dog where they have a fighting chance. They weren't a huge dog obviously today, but in general, I'm kind of high on Minnesota going forward for sure. I'm not sure I'm going to take Baltimore down a notch because they've been getting beat by Minnesota. Minnesota is a quality team that has life on the road, and so Minnesota. I mean, before this series, Baltimore was the top team in baseball at home. Minnesota was the top team in baseball on the road, and so you're thinking one of those things would have to give, and Baltimore at home gave. So Baltimore might still be okay going forward, especially at home, but I'm definitely a believer in Minnesota for sure going forward.
Yeah, and the one concern I had with this game was just the amount of people I felt like I saw in the game. I mean, on Twitter, it seemed like everyone was on the Twins today. It seemed like a very trendy side. It was a day game. They can always kind of be troublesome, but a nice job by the Twins. Another team that has continued to play pretty well, Peter, is the Toronto Blue Jays. They're starting to kind of come back to relevance. Matt Garza looked like regular old Matt Garza.
Yeah.
We had to figure that ERA wouldn't last very long. 5 1/3, gave up 6 runs and 7 hits. Gave up also 3 big home runs. Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee, Peter's probably going to get back to kind of where they usually are. I think they played probably in over their heads a little bit. Still pretty good offense, but guys like Jimmy Nelson and Matt Garza, to think that they're going to pitch well all year, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, we were asked about that game in the morning show. I said my lean on that one would be to Toronto in the first half. I didn't have the balls to give that one as a pick. I definitely said that I was looking for Garza to regress, but that I thought that Stroman, his excellence is for real and likely to continue. Yeah, and I didn't have the. I also said that. Probably as a small home dog, I would lean Milwaukee on the full game, but then my pick on that one, if I had to give one, would be Toronto on the first half. And yeah, Toronto's bullpen has started to improve. When they get to Lewinsky and Donaldson back, that'll be a big deal. Stroman is his excellence, I think, is for real and likely to continue. So yeah. Also, some reason to think that Milwaukee might be a little bit overvalued going forward. So, I was leaning towards Toronto today, but I didn't have the balls to pull the trigger on it. Yeah, I should have done that for sure.
Yeah, and Kevin Pillar's been a really good leadoff hitter for them. I mean, you look at his average, 303. He's hit some home runs. He had another one tonight. Good OPS as well. He's been a nice leadoff hitter, kind of filled in for like a Tulowitzki kind of type. But they're going to need to continue to kind of mix and match with that lineup, because that lineup is a shell of what it once was. Oakland gets a nice win. They bounced back after last night, losing to Miami. Sonny Gray gets the win. And Peter, if I can remember correctly, you mentioned you liked the A's today.
Yeah, I did. I bet him, but on my official, I bet the over and I bet the A's, and so A's -1, which cashed, and so I probably broke even on the game on my betting account. But on my official picks in public for the morning show, which is what I mostly care about, I gave the over 8.5 as an official pick, but I gave Oakland -1 as just a lean, so I had to eat a loss with that one. Again, trying to get too cute, could have had a nice unit with Oakland there, but and could have had a nice unit with Arizona. I said I was liking them in -1 as well. Tried to get too cute, a little bit hesitant. I'm going to try to be a little bit ballsier tomorrow. I've looked at some of the overnight lines, and I think I'm going to be pulling the trigger on a bunch of plays solidly. Not trying to do like first half team totals and stuff like that. Just solid plays, and hopefully I'll make up for a couple of units that I've lost this week so far. Yeah, I like them for sure.
You talk about getting cute. I got too cute today with the fucking White Sox. God forbid this team ever win a goddamn game when I need them to. You look at this situation for them today. They get Randall Delgado, who went 4 innings, and I thought that was too many innings. I thought he'd only go 3 or 4. They get the bullpen for literally 6 innings. And you get Quintana, which Quintana's been a real weird pitcher. In April, he was horrible.
Yeah.
In May, he's been fantastic. But today, he wasn't very good at all. He had major trouble. Their bullpen was great, but unfortunately, he had already given up 8 runs. So it was pretty much dead and buried. And, again, this is for me, I kind of agree with where you're going with that, Peter, because with Arizona, I've always bet on Arizona at home. All year, they've been a team I bet at home. And, you look at today, another good spot at home, but I read too much into it. I didn't think, but at the end of the day, the Whites are just a bad team. They're just not any good.
Well, I think that I don't know if I necessarily say they're a bad team. They have a good bullpen. I agree with you that with Quintana, it was a little hard to figure out what was likely to happen with him, because his last start before tonight was excellent, but in general he's been shaky this year. So I did say that I was kind of nervous to sort of either back him or bet against him. But the reason I took Arizona, the reason I gave it as a lean in the morning show, and the reason I bet it myself was just because of the line. This has been like 140, 150. I wouldn't have taken it, but I got it at like -108 or something, and the run line part was like plus 175 or something like that. So if it had been a little higher, I wouldn't have taken it. But at just that low line, again, I think that Arizona, as you said, they've been a little bit disrespected on their odds in general this year, and especially at home. And I felt this game was a perfect example of that.
No, you were dead on the money. And I guess for me, it just I got scared with Delgado. He hadn't pitched in some time. But you look at the Arizona Diamondbacks, 21-8 in Chase Field this year. Just been a massive money cap. They're up over 12.5 units if you bet on them every game. And for most of that, I've been on them. Just today, for some reason, I decided to go against it. But next one here, just wrapped up here in Philadelphia. The Phillies scored some runs finally, Peter. How about that? They finally scored, and our friend Donnie Wright said, I know he was on the over here, which I believe it pushed. Yeah, I think it
He
was
got
9.
8.5 at cash. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if it was, I think he got 9. I remember him telling me. But either way, you look at the Phillies. I mean, again, another horrible performance from their starters. They only had 3 hits in this game. Luckily, they got a home run from Michael Saunders. But other than that, this team continues to be bad. And you know what? What's crazy, Peter? They've now lost 20 of 23 games. Their AAA team has won 16 of 17 games. Earth to the fucking Phillies. Go down and pick up some of these young kids. It's time to mix and match. This team's not winning. I don't know how many fucking nights in a row I got to mention this. You're not winning any games. Go down, mix and match, experiment with what you have, because this is a pathetic joke. Every night you lose 6-7-0, 7-2, 9-2. It's a joke. It's pathetic. There's a reason you only see 400 people in the stadium. That's why.
You should be embarrassed of yourselves. What you have shown this series against Colorado is pathetic.
Right. Well,
I'll tell you what.
We got one more day of it, Peter.
I think that yeah, we got him tomorrow. As I said, I jumped on him. I've already hit Colorado tomorrow on the -1 line, and looking ahead after this one, this pathetic joke of an excuse of a team is going to have a home series against Cincinnati. Cincinnati, of course, mired right now in a tough series against Cleveland, but I think that Cincinnati not going to have as much obvious major margin value as Colorado's had in this series. But I think Cincinnati is going to be a good bet in that series in general as well.
Yeah, Vig Simon mentioning 5 runs in 5 games for the Phillies. I mean, just disgusting. I mean, amazingly bad. They're the worst team in baseball. If you could try to argue and say it's someone else, but it's not. I mean, they have the worst lineup in baseball, worst team overall. Premium play for me tonight, Peter, was on the New York Yankees -1.5. A great performance from Luis Severino, fantastic. I mean, 9th inning or 8th inning, Peter, 112 pitches. He's still throwing 100 miles an hour. Look, not the worst best lineup in the world. I mean, but Jason Hamm was actually decent. I was kind of surprised that he pitched so well. But just another brutally bad performance from the Royals offense. It was really one that I didn't worry too much. I was just hoping that the Yankees could score a couple runs, and they were able to do that. Betances, Peter, it's not often that you have a team that you lose your closer in Chapman, but you have another guy you can put right in, and he's going to fill the void. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees had a deep bullpen to start the year. Yeah, that was one that I actually did bet it on the opener on the opening night, on the overnight at -1, and I got the Yankees at I think about -178. And then by the time the day of game came around, I started to feel a little bit nervous about it, that the line was just a little bit too high. But I decided just to go with it. Of course, it closed a lot higher than that, and wound up cashing with -1. I wasn't sure in the end if I had made the right decision by taking them at that high of a line. Just because you win a bet doesn't necessarily, especially in baseball, doesn't necessarily mean that you were on the right side in terms of the stats and the numbers. But KC, this was not one of the games where they sort of surprised and had value as an underdog. Although it's hard to tell KC right now. It's hard to tell how low the market will get on them and how pathetic they'll actually be going forward. I have a feeling that they're going to have some decent profitability as a big underdog at some point this season, and it'll be somewhat evident when that is. Maybe not though. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, going into tonight, 29th in the major leagues in batting average, 27th in slugging percentage. You look at their on base percentage, 28th. Just, you look at that lineup. You mentioned it last night, Peter, I believe. They still have some of those people from the World Series, and Moustakas, Eric Hosmer, Kane. But the only one really doing much of anything has been Hosmer. I mean, other than that, Alex Gordon's hitting 180. I mean, that's just is awful. Their pitching's not very good. So they're going to lose a lot of games this year. They might be a team that needs to start thinking about maybe reloading a little bit and trying to cut some of that dead weight that they have. Next one here, Peter. This was a really bad beat if you were on it. The over in the Nationals-Mariners game. I mean, you look at this game, 5-1 at the end of 2. Sure. They don't score another run with those bullpens, with those starters. Gaviglio, I had a feeling, was going to give up some runs, but Tanner Roark, Peter, very good tonight. And surprisingly, if you were on the over here, my salutation. Sorry about that one. Tough beat.
Yeah, I actually did have the over small at 9 on the overnight line, and yeah, I was expecting Gaviglio to struggle a bit, which he did. I was also expecting Rourke to get to get hit a little bit, which did not happen. And I'm gonna have to look into Seattle a little bit closer because that makes the 5th game in a row that they have scored exactly 1 run, which is also pathetic and embarrassing. And I'm wondering if there's something fundamental there, if that's is just due to a variance. I know that Robinson Cano is back, so it's this is the offense is really slumping, and I think maybe one of the things I'm going to do tonight is look a little bit more in depth to see how fundamental that is, and if they're going to start picking it up, if they're likely to start picking it up at some point or not, because they've been really bad for 5 games in a row now.
Yeah, they are in general pretty bad on the road. I mean, you look at runs. I mean, over this, I mean, who's been worse offensively, the Mariners in the series or the Phillies in their series? I mean, you would be hard
I think the
pressed.
Mariners. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Mariners have been really bad. Tampa Bay gets the job done at home, 5-2. A series here that I haven't had much interest in. I haven't been involved in the series, but the Rays continue to play fairly well at home. They're doing enough. They're getting good pitching tonight from Ross Ramirez. Another good performance from him. He was a guy that I was a little concerned with throughout most of the year just because he's always mostly been a reliever, but Ramirez pitched well tonight. Nolasco gives up his typical. I mean, Peter, is there a more average pitcher in the major leagues than Ricky Nolasco? I mean, he's not good. He's not terrible. He's just average. He gives up 4 or 5 runs a game. That's normally his MO. And right now, the Angels, they didn't score enough runs to even stay in this one.
Yeah, I see you, and he does actually tend to give up home runs when he's off, which means that he does have a propensity for getting shelled once in a while. And I'm pulling up his career long numbers here. Yeah, he's a tricky one. I feel like in the past I've gotten burned a little bit betting on him to get shelled and having a surprisingly good start out of nowhere. I think that in the not too distant future he is going to because he when his sinker ball, he throws a sinker ball a lot, and when his sinker ball in general, when sinker ballers are off, they are very, very vulnerable to giving up home runs, and that is the case with Nolasco. So I'm going to be looking for maybe spots in some of his upcoming starts to time maybe some bad results from him, a little bit worse than what we've seen, a little bit worse than these 6-inning 3-run starts. We'll see. It depends on who he's matched up against. They don't have his likely upcoming starts coming up, but yeah, in general, I would say. I mean, he does have a propensity to get strikeouts. He had 10 strikeouts when he was at Oakland, and that's of course a West Coast park where that can happen, where it can be friendly to pitchers. But I think as the summer months, as things warm up, he's more likely than not to start getting hit a little harder for sure.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that for sure. And guys, by the way, we will just finish up this recap. We will also go over some overnight lines. I'm not on the air tomorrow. I know Peter is, but I know Peter's a big overnight guy. It's good to kind of maybe look at some of this stuff beforehand. Boston, they win 9-4, and look, I've vocally pointed out my disdain for Sam Dyson. I'm floored that he's still in the major leagues. I just don't get it. You look at this game tonight, and the bookmakers have really kind of, I think, got a lot of people with these numbers. They got me 2 nights in a row. I put in plays both nights on Texas, thinking that I was getting good value. And you look at tonight, they go up 3-1. You're thinking, okay, perfect. Yeah. I mean, Sales giving up some runs, but then you're thinking, you know what? I'm sure the Texas bullpen will blow it. 7 runs combined in the 7th inning they give up. Sam Dyson behind most of them. He doesn't even record an out. Gives up 4 earned runs. And again, a 12 ERA for Sam Dyson. At what point is Jeff Bannister going to wake up and just realize this guy's throwing off your mojo? I mean, their bullpen was actually pitching, Peter, pretty well without him. I just don't understand why they keep going to this guy.
I'm sure they have their reasons. Maybe he's a manipulative guy who knows how to manipulate the clubhouse to get everyone on his side. But then he's like secretly, a terrible, toxic presence, but knows how to get people to advocate for him. I have no idea. Yes, there are definitely some decisions that are made by general managers in all sports that are a little bit boggling of the mind, and that might be one of them. In MLB, every time you win or lose, every time you lose or win, you always have have to keep in mind that you might have not necessarily made the right or wrong bet just because of how much randomness and variance is involved in baseball. So, the way the game turned out with Chris Sale and giving up 3 runs by the end of the 5th doesn't necessarily mean that you had the wrong side if you took Texas at plus 250 or whatever line you got them. I was shocked that line soared over minus 300. And when I mentioned it in the morning show today, I said that I wasn't going to touch the game, but if you gave me a free play on it, I would take a flyer with Texas at that line. And it only got bet up even higher, significantly higher by first pitch. So you weren't necessarily on the wrong side,
Yeah, I mean, at close, at Bookmaker, that closed at plus 264 for the Texas Rangers. Look, I'll take that any day of the week. You said, with the way Texas is playing right now, Sale, he is over last 3 starts, an ERA over 4. And for Chris Sale, that's not good. So, you live and you learn. But sometimes betting's about, taking a shot with value. And a lot of the time you're going to lose doing that, but sometimes you got to just take it and hold your nose and see what happens.
I don't mean to be a stickler here, but technically betting is always about taking a shot with value, right? Whether you're taking a favorite or an underdog.
No, you're totally right. You're totally right. Next one here, Cleveland. They're in a kind of a tug of war here with the Cincinnati Reds, 3-2 in the bottom of the 8th. Bullpen in, obviously, for the Indians. Indians try to win another close game here, Peter. Much more low scoring than the other matches we've seen. Carlos Santana with a nice game. Cincinnati, not a team that really interests me too much. Were you on this game at all, Peter?
I actually did take a small shot with Cincinnati as a big dog, a flyer in this one. So, it's looking like I'm probably going to get a loser with that one. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean that I made a bad bet on that one. Cincinnati is a team that has some positives to them, and I'm willing to go on them if there's a spot where there's a reason to, whether either in this case they're, a huge dog that I think is a little bit too high, or in their upcoming series when they're going up against an auto-fade team, which is Philadelphia. So I am probably going to be. We'll see what the pitching matchups are and what the odds are when they come out. But based on how low the odds were for the series against Colorado, how shockingly low they continue to be, I'm guessing that I'm going to feel the same way about the Cincinnati road lines, and I'm assuming that I'm going to be on Cincinnati at least once or twice. One way or another in the upcoming series at Philly for sure.
Yeah, you look at their lineup, Peter, the Reds, it's not bad. They have table setters, and Billy Hamilton's fantastic at the top of the lineup. Still some big boppers in the middle of that lineup. It's just, can you get a good pitching matchup? And you're right. With the way the Phillies are playing, I'm always going to be looking into that. Peter, I have to ask, before we get into a couple of these other ones here, you mentioned that you had a note to read tonight. Is that going to happen?
Oh, yeah. You want to go to this, or do you want to? I just want to make one quick note about the Reds.
Well, no, I was going to finish up here, but I'm just kind of foreshadowing a little bit.
Yeah, okay. No, just one quick note about the Reds. They're also very good defensively, and their bullpen is also decent. Not necessarily elite, but top 10. So I am vaguely looking for spots to play on the Reds and to maybe look for them to be undervalued in spots. We shall see. All right. So you want to hear me? Yeah. Basically the deal is that I don't know. I'm seriously thinking about shaving my mustache here and changing the look. I'm just it'll detract from the quality of the videos, because believe it or not, even if how like alternative rockers just don't even care if anyone actually likes their music. They just care about whether they know or not that the song they wrote was good or not. And that's how I feel about videos. Like, even if people don't necessarily give me positive feedback, I just want to know that I'm making the best videos that I possibly can. And I feel like the mustache is just so funny that it would be a mistake for me to get rid of it. But I feel like I have to, because chicks universally hate it.
Well, I think it's time, Peter, maybe for a change. Just my opinion. Yeah. I'm sure there's many things about myself I need to change also. But again, if you ask, I never have facial hair. I'm not into that. But if I was going to have a beard, it would probably be a full beard, not exactly the mustache. But I got to tell you, Peter, I do think you should go back to the look like when you were interviewing like Dave Golikoff, that kind of era, where you had the buzzed hair and the glasses.
Yeah.
I think you should go back to that look personally.
I look kind of sharp there, and it is true. It is also true that that if a chick is talking about your mustache being a deal breaker or not with you as far as going on a date with you, what that really means is you don't have enough money. Because if you have enough money, nothing matters, right?
Yeah, nothing does.
Walking around with $5 million in your account, chick doesn't even notice what the hell's on your face. But in this case, she did say, let's see, she sent me a lot of messages here. The main one that she sent me this morning, which had me really, really thinking, is she said here. I'll read it to you.
Now, I gotta ask before you do. Can you? I don't know how much you listen to Howard Stern, but sometimes Howard Stern will describe like what the woman looks like on the radio. Can you give us a little bit of a breakdown on what she looks like?
Oh, this chick is attractive. She's now. First of all, I have to say that people who know me a little bit well know that I like a big woman. To be honest, you know what I'm saying. I like a full.
When you say big woman, like what? How big? Like thick or like? Because for me, like I agree. Like I like a thick broad as well. Like like some decent hips. Nice backside. You're not huge, but like if you know what Amber Rose, like her kind of. Her body breakdown.
I mean, to guys who like skinny chicks, like as a woman gets like bigger and bigger and bigger, they become less and less attractive. And for me, it's more just like as they get bigger and bigger and bigger, there's like no effect. So it's like I'm attracted to skinny chicks too, but like as they get bigger, my attraction for them does not go down. So this girl though is also she comes from money, you know what I mean? So she's not like gonna let herself look like Honey Boo Boo over there, but she's a pampered chick who's like a little bit curvy, and basically she looks like a Latina Drew Barrymore, basically is what she looks like, with a little bit of extra chub. Yeah, no, she's hot. I mean, she was a normal sized model for a while when she was a few years younger. So that's why obviously I'm thinking about this so hard. I
got to ask you, Peter. I mean, you've described her fairly well. I mean, what are you wasting time here for? She sounds like a nice catch. What are you waiting on here? I mean, shave the goddamn mustache. It's time to think about maybe having a woman in your life, bro. I
think I will. I think I will. I mean, obviously, there's other not so positive things. No, I mean, she's a wonderful person, but there's it's not the easiest. It's not like a walk through the park, a cakewalk to spend time with her and stuff like that. You know what I'm getting at here. But no, she's a great person, and very attractive, and I've known her for a long time, and I think I am gonna have to shave the freaking mustache.
Well, Peter, it's time to stop with the preamble and get to the note. I mean, what exactly did she say?
What do you mean? What did she say?
You said something about wet the something. I forget what you said exactly. Sure. Why don't you enlighten us what happened?
So she goes, let's go. All depend if I get a wet one, then you are lucky. But the thing is, you got to get the hair out of the way, the mustache and the long hair. I can't get a wet one with that number. I think any woman can't. Plus the show changed, so you can take it off.
Well, for me that says go in your bathroom tonight after the show and shave the fucking thing off, because you need to pipe her down real quick, like Robinson says, and then get to the business. And who cares with the mustache? You have a girl, she's hot. Right. What more do you need?
And I told her that, and this just gives you an indication. She's kind of a tough broad, and she doesn't mince words. I said, I don't know, I kind of feel like it's my trademark. And here's what she responded to that. She said, no, you are your own trademark, Peter. You yourself as a person, you are not a clown. You are an anchor.
Wow, I love this. This chick's great. Good for her. I love it.
Listen to this. She goes, is not you take your red nose and you're not a clown anymore, is about self-respect and making a point. Then you can grow a beard if you want, or whatever else. Don't let people cage your persona. Reinventing yourself.
Wow, I like this chick, bro. I like this chick, man. You got to scoop her up.
Yeah, she made a good point. I'm like, you know what? God damn it, I'm not a clown.
You're definitely not. You're definitely not.
Have a red nose to find my identity. If I take the red nose off, I'm nothing. God damn it, right?
Yeah, you need to make this happen, Peter. I don't know what you're waiting on.
Point. Yeah.
Good for you.
So I'm thinking about shaving.
Do it. I think you should come into the office tomorrow. with a full the mustache gone. Maybe in the next week or so, cut your hair a little bit,
Yeah.
freshen up. I think it'd be perfect.
If I shave the mustache off and definitely cut my hair, I think that the long hair with no facial hair look is mad lame, It's like high school kid who doesn't know what to do yet. Yeah, so I'm gonna if I shave the mustache off, I'll probably shave my head or cut it super short or something like that. Yeah, that's what girls like anyway. They just want to feel like a guy is like capable and competent, but not scary. And that's,
sure.
So that's why you have a smiley face and a shaved head. Oh my God.
Good question from Joe. A good point here. Is this girl local to you or long distance?
Yeah, she's local. Of course she's local. Of course she's local.
That's what I figured. I'm just asking. Joe asked the question. I didn't. I'm just asking. I'm just a messenger, Peter. This is a great comment here. This show is good humor, but there is no flow without Donnie. Well, okay, Phil Marino.
Oh,
well, Donnie's
really?
in fucking Disney World. I mean,
really? No flow. So what kind of flow does Donnie have? Donnie has some kind of like magical broadcasting talent that makes flow that makes shows just naturally flow. Is that accurate, big man? You think that's true?
No. Phil Marino has an agenda. That's his agenda. He doesn't like me because I don't put my record out there. That's his that's his shtick. Again, Donnie's in Disney World. We can't have him on all the time. He has a family. He's doing his thing. Donnie will be back. And we look forward to when that is. But again, Phil Marino, you don't have to listen. No one's begging.
I'm sure Donnie's a great guy. I'm sure he's a sharp handicapper, really nice guy. I'm just jealous and fearful of all my competitors and even potential competitors. But no, I'm sure Donnie's a great guy and excellent.
He is.
He's certainly the kind of guy who would do very well with the ladies on first glance and on Tinder and all that. I mean, he's got that fresh faced, no facial hair look that they find very very appealing, right?
Oh, sure. And he's got that voice and very projecting. Donnie, a great guy, a good friend of mine outside of the business. And it would be tough to do shows without him. He definitely has that announcer flow. Fucking dreads, Pete. Don't be a pussy, corporate slave, and give in to convention and cut your hair. All right. There you go.
Actually, it's not for corporate convention. It's for chick standards. The demands of friggin' chicks. You know what I mean? It's what they.
Listen, sometimes you're gonna have to change for a woman, Peter. It's just sometimes what you have to do, man. Will you do a late night show for one night with Loshak, BMOC, and Donnie? We did do that before. Peter's been on with us before, but I'm sure that's something we will continue to do at some point. I love doing shows with Peter. Peter, also,
since a lot of my overnight bets, it's interesting because a lot of the overnight bets I gave you did not necessarily win, but I think almost all of them beat the closing lines by a significant amount. Especially the two I had a couple days ago, a couple totals that both lost, but when I gave them on this show, they were half run lower than what they were on the closer. So and
it's
of course,
all about CLV, Peter. It's all about CLV.
Course, it's a no-brainer. But every single time I mentioned that I took Colorado on the overnight line, it closed at least 15 cents higher, by first pitch. I'm sure that's going to happen tomorrow as well with Anderson going against who's starting for Philly? Oh, Velasquez. They've even got a starting pitcher who's been getting hit recently, and they're still minus 120. It just doesn't make any sense to me,
Yeah, let's get into some of those games tomorrow, Peter. Obviously, you have that. We'll start right up at the top, 1:05 p.m., Rockies and Phillies. Tyler Anderson against Vince Velasquez. Listen, I mean, I know our friend Donnie Wright said he's been on the over in this series. I got to be honest, tomorrow, I'm not sure why you don't go back to the well one more time with the over here. I mean, Velasquez is – the problem with Vinny Velasquez is he tries to throw way too hard. He has no real control. Right. He's walked 20 batters in 43 and 2/3 innings. It's just too much. And Tyler Anderson, Peter, you look at if this is a sign of what he's all about on the road. You know what his road ERA is?
What's that?
6.66.
Okay.
Kind of a little spooky, if you'd ask me.
Sure.
Tyler Anderson definitely struggled. I might go back to the well with the over here, Peter.
I don't know. I mean, I did take the over on tonight's game on the overnight, which is why I got 8.5. I'm always I'm always thinking twice and three times before I take a total with an early day game on a Thursday, because there can be lineup unexpected lineup changes that you don't anticipate. I definitely jumped all over Colorado here. The only reason I'm not taking the over right now is because first of all, as you said, Velasquez is definitely a guy who's vulnerable. Does have a big fastball, though. Does have some upside. And Anderson, his last couple starts have been a lot better. His strikeouts are up. So we might see something similar to like what we saw today, where Philadelphia gets absolutely shut down. And if that does happen, then I'm not sure I'd be so comfortable having the over 8.5, just like happened tonight. It only cashed late. So I jumped all over Colorado on the -1 line. On the overnights, I do think that one is going to move significantly by first pitch tomorrow. Whether it wins or not, who knows? I'm staying off the total for now, though, for sure. I might be on it by first pitch.
I mean,
tomorrow.
they have to hit at some point. Wouldn't it be tomorrow? I feel like day game. No. I mean, yeah, I know you're right about that.
I mean, Anderson is a guy who he's got great stuff. He pitches in Coors. He had a rocky start to the season, so he's the kind of guy who's not gonna not necessarily gonna be gonna lose his focus after a couple of strong starts. He's looking to he's got to reestablish himself as a quality starter here. He knows he's going to have a problem doing that at the spot for him to have another good start, to get another, 10 strikeouts and another, 6 or 7 innings, giving up 1 or 2 runs, something like that. So it feels to me like that's what we're looking at here. So that's why I'm not on the over yet. And but I'm definitely on Colorado on the -1 line for sure already.
Sure. No, I hear you on that. Randy Miller, this show is always entertaining. Thank you, Randy. We appreciate that.
Thanks so much, Randy Miller. Thank you.
Yeah, Kevin White, let me get one of those hats. You're looking fly. All right, yeah. I agree. The hat does look good.
I have a big ass head, though. You got a big ass head to make it look right. But yeah, I love flat billed hats. I want to get some more. And actually, this chick. She's like like I said, she's like a rich, she's like grew up with money, right? And so she's all into design and fashion and shit. And I will give her credit that a lot of the things that I bought with her, other people have said I like that. And she said that if I shave my mustache, she goes, you can get a hat or a bow to make up for it. So she said we'll go shopping for hats to make up for you losing your mustache.
So there you go. So it's a win-win for you, right? Yeah. Robinson with a good comment. Loshak, if she goes over with her weight, you could tell her to lose some and see what happens. After she told you, if she told you to lose something, well, maybe that will be in the cards for you at some point. But you know what?
No, that's not what I do. I encourage my girlfriends to gain weight, not lose weight. I love it when they gain weight.
You should never tell that to a woman, Robinson. You probably won't have one for very long if you do that. Jeff, who is the guy on YouTube with 15 burner accounts stalking you on here? I'm not going to put him. I'm not going to give him any credit. We'll talk about him later. Get in touch with me on Twitter. I'll let you know who that is. Peter, one interesting number I am looking at here is the Indians tomorrow. Mike Clevenger's been very good for them since coming up. He's really taken advantage of the opportunity to pitch well, and he's pitched better so far than Bauer and Josh Tomlin have. Tim Edelman, a guy that really hasn't been particularly good in 6 starts. On the road, he's been absolutely horrible. This might be a decent spot to lay that run line with Cleveland. Clevenger's been good. I mean, we can't get around that fact.
That game, I looked at it kind of carefully, and I didn't make a bet on it on the opening line. It reminds me of the game today where I did take a shot with a big underdog line. Looks like that's going to be a loser. Clevenger, yes, nice start in his last time out. Excellent start. Pretty much any major league pitcher, except for the auto fade pigs like Jared Weaver and Bartolo Colon or whatever, are capable of giving a start like that unexpectedly at any given moment. Going forward, I'm not super high on Clevenger. We'll see how he's able to, if he's able to get his control issues down. If he does, then yes, he'll be a quality starter with the Indians backing him up. He'll be a good bet. But I need to wait and see on that first. I'm not sold on Clevenger right now, and as of right now, I would be looking to fade him more than not. The issue is just on the other other side, you got Cincinnati, you got Edelman starting, who's probably going to get hit here. So you might be right that Cleveland -1 might be the play. I might take a shot with the over, depending on the lineups and everything, closer to the first pitch tomorrow. It's an interesting game. I'm not high on Clevenger going forward in general, but I didn't take Cincinnati in this one, and I didn't take Cleveland here, and I'm thinking about the over maybe, but I'm definitely going to wait until much closer to game time before I make a decision on that. Interesting game. Definitely an interesting number for sure, though.
Sure. Hear me out. What a coincidence during the roundtable that not many dislikes, but you know who's not here? Ian Cameron. Ian Cameron's literally the nicest person I've ever met in this business. It's not Ian Cameron. Stop with that stupid crap.
Ian Cameron's not the nicest person. No. The nicest person is Doug Upstone. That guy is nice.
I don't think I've ever talked to him, but he seems pretty nice on the chats.
He might be top 5. Sure. Yes.
Yeah, Ian's definitely top 5. If you ask me. Peter, I heard on the show today you were talking about, you were saying yes homo, I guess, and someone said that wasn't something someone from New York said, which it kind of got me thinking really quick. Have you ever heard like what the new phrase is in New York when you say something that might be considered like kind of gay, maybe?
No, because here's the thing: we're living in wacky times, big man on campus. We are living in wacky times, and it is really affecting. You got to be on guard with everything you say, because you can't make jokes like you used to, like Andrew Dice Clay and Eddie Murphy and all those guys from the 80s and 90s, and they just riff here and there and here and there. And you got to be really careful. And everything is kept forever. So if you let slip with something that people glom onto, that could end your career quickly. So you got to be careful saying no homo, yes homo, bi-curious. I don't know what to say now. I'm just trying to say the right thing.
Here's what you say. You know what you say? You know what the rappers say when they say something that might be, kind of off the limb? You know what they say? They go, they'll say something, they'll go pause, and then they'll say something else. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what they say. That's what I hear. So, exactly. You're right. I mean, you can't say stuff anymore that you maybe used to be able to say.
That's right. Tough times. You got to be really, really careful. If you actually say no homo in a non-ironic way, they'll get you. They'll come for you. They'll get you. You'll be out of your job. So you got to be real careful in 2017, big man on campus.
Oh yeah, I hear you on that. I've been in a little hot water with some things I've said on Twitter, so I hear you on that. A mustache with a slogan, yes homo. Okay, well.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. No, fuck it. I'll just say yes homo, and I think that feels like the appropriate way to handle that in 2017.
Vig Simon, who is the biggest asshole that seemed nice enough that used to be on SBR, Pete or Jeff? I don't know.
Who? What was that question?
That's an interesting question. He asked, who's the biggest asshole that seemed nice that used to be on SBR, Pete or Jeff?
Interesting. That could be answered, of course, but we don't. Again, it's 2017. You got to be careful, baby. You got to be careful. The internet saves everything. You know what I'm saying? The internet saves everything. Even if you delete it, no, it's still there. And then even if you delete it and then you delete the link to the file, no, it's still there. So you got to be real careful in 2017. We're not going to answer that question, Big Simon. It could be answered, though, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to get too deep into that one. Let's go through maybe one more. Pete, why don't you give us an overnight line that you're looking at?
Okay, well, I took here's one thing I'm thinking about. Now, I'm not sure if I've made the right decision here, but I am vaguely high on Kenta Maeda coming back from a hamstring injury tomorrow. Of course, Justin Turner being out for the Dodgers is not good, right? So the Dodgers lineup might be a little bit chintzy, heading into tomorrow. But it's a very low line. I think Maeda might have a good start. And as we also know about Maeda, he's a guy who can also, provide some offense for you unplanned. I mean, he's a guy who can, give you a double or a home run here and there, and people sometimes overlook that. So I did take a shot with the Dodgers on the -1 line tomorrow. It's a modest home dog line that I got there, and it's mostly that I'm expecting Kenta Maeda to come back and maybe to be a little bit better than expected. And also took a shot with Arizona. Listen, they're going into Milwaukee, and Robbie Ray is a tricky guy because he has a lot of walks, and obviously the Brewers still have a very, very powerful lineup. He starts putting on a bunch of guys, he could get lit the F up. But I got the money line part at -105, the run line part at +152. So I took a shot with Arizona -1 at plus odds, and also I took a shot with Colorado, and I did take a shot with Tampa Bay. The Angels are starting that guy Wright, who has bad numbers in the majors this year, bad numbers in the minors. Looks like a really bad spot for them. And on the other side, Andriese has also been struggling. Not as bad as Wright, though, so I also took a shot with the over. I got it at 8.5 -103, I think I got. And, if it was down at 8, I would like it a lot more. So I'm thinking that we might see some runs tomorrow in the Angels-Rays game, and took a small shot with the Rays -1 at underdog lines. Those are, and of course, tomorrow is Bartolo Colon Day. I did take a small shot with Pittsburgh on the -1 line, but mostly I'm waiting to see what the first 5 innings line will be when it comes out, and then I'll decide whether to take the Pirates team total over or the first 5 innings over. But it's Bartolo Colon Day, and he could have a good start though. He's made 3 starts at home, and 2 of them were good. But just in general, he's a guy that if I have any legitimate reason to, and the line is okay, I'm looking to fade him.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned to you, Peter. He's a guy that I fade every time he pitches. And tomorrow will be no different. I like Nova. I like what he's done. I think he's been their strongest pitcher, Pittsburgh. They're not a great team. I mean, I'm not going to – they're just going to be close, I'm sure. But, again, I'll take a shot. Peter, how about San Diego tonight? They get the job done. It just continues to get worse than the New York Mets. They had a good game last night, or I think it was last night with Harvey. But, tonight, nice job by the Padres to scratch back. They get to that bullpen again. And, look, I mean, other than when, Matt Harvey pitches or something. Even yesterday, I kind of like the first 5 there. I don't know how you bet the Mets full game. I mean, their bullpen is that bad.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Last night I did have the Mets -1, and I cashed on that one. Tonight, though, I had the under. I took a shot with the under 9, and that one lost. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that's a very, very astute comment there, analysis. I'm careful. You don't want to get too cute taking first 5 innings more than full games, because you're paying higher juice in general on significantly higher juice with first 5 inning lines than you are with full game lines. You really have to have a really solid reason for doing so. You might have it though with the Mets here. The Mets actually might be. You're absolutely right. One of those. You take them on the first 5 and either fade them on the second half or look to bet against them on the full game, as opposed to on the first 5 for sure. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I think you're totally right, and I'll continue to do it. I can't trust that bullpen, but there's definitely some interesting lines tomorrow. I mean, obviously Pittsburgh would be something I'd be looking at. Maybe Colorado over, Colorado again. This Phillies team's just a sweepable team right now. I don't know if that's a word, sweepable, but they're very swept prone, I guess you could say. You used to use that blowoutable term, Peter.
Yeah.
In college football, I think it was, which I'm looking forward to. I can't wait. I'm already putting in college basketball futures, Peter. That's how astute I am with that. So, looking forward to that. Duke looks good, and I follow a lot of recruiting, so I'm looking forward to the season coming. Loshak, if Bartolo wins tomorrow, you got to keep the mustache. That's what
if Bartolo wins tonight, I could do stuff like that, and I would do it, but with chicks, it's serious business. It's like, all right, do I want to make a decision here and make a move on this or not? And so no, I will. My decision to shave the mustache or not will be entirely based on chicks, basically. I'm not going to put it on games or anything. Yeah.
Had to mention this comment pretty funny, probably the better one of the night. Jeff Nadu sucks so bad. He said Rangers, LOL, fade, fade, fade. Chris Barr's the GOAT, baby. All right. Thanks for that. Again, the Rangers, which we talked about, you fucking idiot. We talked about that, and we mentioned it was a fucking value play. It's called betting things because they have value. You fucking idiot.
Right. And listen, you got him I'm assuming you got him somewhere around 250. Now we can talk one more time about value in a second. But let me just talk about this game. Let's say the line had been plus 1,200, right, on the Rangers just to win the game, and they lost. Would that have been a bad bet? No, I think that would have been a good bet. And this is what you have to keep in mind when you're, analyzing your bets and your picks and deciding whether they're good or not. Just take an outlier result and imagine if someone had offered you a line that fell just short of that outlier result. You would have made the bet, and if it had lost, you still would have thought that you made a good bet, and you might have questioned whether you overbet it or not. But a perfect example is when just happened recently, but it happens more often than you think, which is why you have to really be aware of it. But when Cleveland was up on Boston in the first half by 40, remember that game, big man?
Yes, I do.
Right. All right. So if someone had offered you, Celtics plus 35 on the first half, obviously you would have taken it, and obviously you would have been right. Now it would have lost, but if someone was going to, come into this video and say like, haha, you took Celtics plus 35 on the first half, you're an idiot. No, obviously they would be wrong, and you taking Celtics plus 35 on the first half was the right thing to do. The question is, did you overbet it or not? That's a separate issue. But again, outlier results, if you look at them and imagine what you would have done if someone had offered you a bet that fell just short of that, really does some kind of a shed light on how betting works and how you should be thinking about your results in light vis-a-vis of bets you make. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, we're arguing with a guy that literally deletes plays and just makes them up as he goes. So, I mean.
No, I do that. I do that.
Oh, man. One other one here, Peter, before we go. The Dodgers having a little trouble today. Rich Hill having some issues early on. St. Louis with an early lead. They're threatening. Rich Hill, a guy that I want to make a point about what Donnie Wright said a good point he made. Rich Hill's a guy that, I think it was Donnie Wright said, Rich Hill seemingly always deals with blisters and things like that. He's never really – it's kind of been a shame because he's pitched very well, but it just seems like he's constantly battling blisters and things like that. I want to think when he's in there, he's going to be very effective, but it's just hard to get a gauge on this guy long term.
Yeah, and the issue with blisters is that they do tend to obviously be recurring. I mean, we all know when you get a blister on your foot, it's because something's rubbing against that part of your skin over and over again. And so when a pitcher gets a blister, it's not a fluke. It's because the way they pitch, and it always has to do with the pressure that they put to create the spin on the ball repeatedly is giving way and causing them to get those blisters. And so there's no real way that they can change. I mean, they can try, but it's not easy to change, the way they grip the ball, the way they try to, make the ball curve and move. They have to basically keep doing what they've always done. And if they do continue to keep doing what they've always done, they're going to keep continuing to have these blister issues. So blister issues do tend to, whenever I start to see that a pitcher's having issues with blisters, it's a huge red flag for me. And I'm always, very, very careful about betting on a pitcher like that going forward. And interesting, I saw a stat about Rich Hill. There is actually a correlation between pitchers who have blister issues and the pitchers who lead the league in spins on the ball from out of their hand to home plate. They actually measure how many times the ball rotates when it leaves the pitcher's hand to when it hits the catcher's glove. And Rich Hill, because he gets, he has such a vicious spin and obviously a huge curveball, is like top 5 in the majors in terms of the amount of times that the ball spins out of his hand when it hits the pitcher's glove. And that tells you, that shows you why he's prone to getting blisters, because he's putting some vicious spin on that ball that it gives him the big curveball. But that's why the pressure's just too much, and his skin isn't able to deal with it. So yeah, I'm definitely down on Rich Hill going forward. Pretty much, also because he's old. I don't think that there's ever going to be a time when he's going to recapture his old form.
Sure. Now, interesting stuff there on the blisters. I didn't know you had that much information, Peter, on blisters.
Was that clear? What I just said was what I just said clear?
That was very clear. Yeah, I got it.
And in the meantime, Cincinnati now up 4-3. So my big underdog bet. That's why these big underdog bets in baseball can sometimes cash. There's a lot of variance.
Didn't I mention Cody Allen? This fucking guy is brutal.
Yes.
He always has issues. It's amazing. He always has base runners. Vic Simon with some good commenting tonight. Take Jeff and Peter on the road. A $20K budget, 10 days in Bangkok.
There you go. Yes, take us on the road. And if there's any, executive from a network watching now, first of all, go fuck yourself. Second of all, give us a fucking network show. All right.
Yes, agreed. He's also mentioning 2.5 hours of live content. I'm actually thinking about that in my head right now. It'd be funny, Peter, to just go and just interview random people. And I don't know if you follow Barstool Sports, Peter, but some of the guys on there, they do some pretty funny things. There's a kind of a tandem. That would be kind of funny. Maybe we'll do that someday, Peter, you and me. That might.
Yeah, I mean, I subscribe to Barstool Sports, but I'm really I spent all my time following only sports information and sports content that is at least directly related to betting value. If it doesn't have to do with betting value, I ignore it.
I think Peter, let's go to Albania. I mean, obviously I'm Albanian, and we're a very underdeveloped place, and there's a lot of interesting things going on there. I feel like that might be a good place to go.
Or Prague. That's where I really want to go.
Yeah,
God, I
Czech Republic.
I love Prague women from what I've seen on the internet, and that's where I would like. I realized when I was 21, I should have just friggin' moved there. But I love Eastern Europe, man. Let's go. Let's take it on the road, baby.
Real
And
quick,
Eastern Europeans like to bet, actually.
while we're on that topic, I do some soccer stuff with SBR, and we interviewed Peter, one of the guys that does videos with Natalie. His name's Alex. He's from Romania, and Zach Jones dug up this guy Alex in the '90s was a huge pop star in Romania. We found all these videos and stuff that he did, and he was telling me about like he was a pop star and he was doing all this crazy stuff and. He was telling me like they're wild over there. You know, they're really
yes, they certainly are. I mean, anytime you talk to like a band who tours all around the world, and they always love to interview whether it's like Slayer or whatever, and they're like, so what place do you really love to play? And like 75% of the time they're always mentioning some place in Eastern Europe. They're always like, yeah, Romania or Albania. They're crazy over there and they just love to have a good time and they go nuts. We love playing that area. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go there. Let's take a sports betting show there for sure.
Yeah, the rapper, he said Albania is his favorite country to go to. So, we're wild motherfuckers, BMOC is a sight from the morning Albanian people meet. No, I'm not going to tell you what it is. Peter, that's the last thing I want to point out tonight. We were talking about Tinder because I know you're on Tinder and they asked me on the roundtable if I had Tinder, and I said, no, I don't use Tinder. I do have a dating website I use that's extremely successful for me, but I didn't say what it was, and all these people are trying to guess what it is. Like farmersonly.com was mentioned and all these stupid websites, but no one will guess. It's going to be impossible to guess.
I'm guessing because there's a lot of like invite only dating sites only for elite daters, and you have to be invited. Like there's Tinder Elite and shit like that. There's a lot of dating sites where you can't just join. You have to be invited. So I'm guessing that's what you're on that's successful.
I am on something like that. I'm just not going to say what it was. No, it's not Grindr or Moco Space. No. But funny stuff, Kevin White. You are quite the comedian tonight.
Grindr. It's never going to be. I don't care what happens to humanity. Gay jokes are always going to be funny forever. There's no way. Even if they say anyone who makes one gay joke gets fired, people are still going to make those jokes, man.
Yeah, no. How many dating sites are there out there? There are a lot of dating sites. So I think there's literally a dating site for literally every culture or whatever you like. There's always something out there.
Because it's super good. Yeah, because they're super easy to make, and people are always like these entrepreneurs who are highly ambitious but have no sense of purpose in life. Are like, what should we do? And they're like, let's make a dating site. Let's make a dating site for for people who are schizophrenic. All right, let's call it, schizophrenic.com.
Man to man, no, Peter, the site that I'm on is very good. I mean, I can't believe how good it is. I mean, it's amazing.
Really?
Yes, good call, Manchester big man. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Yes, it was an easy win today for Manchester United. Very good. We're gonna go, Peter. We've been on long enough. But you have anything else tonight?
Not really. I gave all my leans. So basically tomorrow I'm going to have a bunch of -1 plays all at dog lines. If 2 of them cash, then I will have a nice little profit, and if 3 of them cash, I'll have a bigger profit. And so far that is Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Rays, and the Rockies. And I'm probably also going to be on. I'm thinking about taking Houston as well. Justin Verlander's starting, going up against Fires, and Houston's been a little shaky. Fires has been a little more shaky. That one I'm probably going to wait a little bit closer to game time to make my my final decision on that one. But that's what I'm leaning towards as well. So those 5 -1 lines are all lines that I've either bet or am leaning towards, and of course waiting for the first 5 innings line for a faded Bartolo Colon tomorrow.
Oh, amen. One other thing, this is a good comment by, I think it's Justin over at SBR. And I actually have a similar story. I used to work in Virginia Beach, and there was some sort of work visa exchange with Romania, Russia, and Jamaica, and our dishwashers and buskers are Romanian. Yeah, and down in Jersey, they have that. A lot of the waitresses are like Belarusian or Moldovan or Russian. And yeah, I know what you're talking about, man. They have them down the Jersey Shore everywhere. And
all they're looking for is just looking to have a little bit of a good time one way or another at some point during the week. Absolutely. Love those chicks. Love Belarus chicks for sure.
Tinder dates with Big Man and Pete. That's your first segment. Yeah, listen, I have I'm an open book. I'm willing to get into anything. I have all sorts of interesting stories about my life, and I don't open up too often on here, but I would if we had the outlet to do so. So, Peter, maybe that's something down the road me and you can get into. I think that would be
Sure.
pretty funny. Eastern Europe overrated. Fuck that. But Albania, I would love to see. Balkans are rad. Serbian's one of my favorite country. But yes, we're not big fans of them. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Agreed. Let's go. We're going to wrap it up here. Watch BMOC and Donnie when you can. Loshak, MLB, and Sportsbet. Amen. Totally right. Peter, any parting words?
No, not really. So we're off tomorrow, but then we're going to be back on Friday. Is that how this works?
Yeah, unless we can figure out going on. Sometimes we go on after Sportsbet tomorrow. I don't know how late you're up. I'm willing to go on at 11 if you want. It's up to you.
All right. Well, we'll work it out. We'll figure it out. But either way, we're going to be doing this again on Friday, right?
Yes, we will be back. Let's get BMOC and Loshak together with Dave Portnoy. That would be interesting. Barstool Radio. We should make that happen. Yeah, we'll be back nonetheless Friday, maybe tomorrow. Catch Peter tomorrow on the early show. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.